guys, Carlos Cortez here. I'm really excited you decided to join us today. If you haven't had a chance, go ahead and follow us on YouTube. We're on Rumble, we're on Spotify, and now Apple Podcasts. So when you get a chance, pause the video, give us a like or subscribe there. I'd really appreciate it. We can monetize this and continue to grow Scriptures in Wall Street. So I really appreciate it. More importantly, everything on this podcast is meant for information and education purposes only. Just prefacing it, I am not giving investment advice when I talk about particular companies or strategies. I'm not giving investment advice. If you would like to speak, give us a call at 813-448-3446. I myself or a licensed agent or advisor will be speaking with you. And I'm just looking forward to helping as many God-fearing patriots that their hearts align with yours and their values as well as your objective, investment objective, and retirement goals should align with what you believe in. That's the whole reason why we do business with the way we do business, so that we can align spiritually, not just politically, but also spiritually, academically, medically, socially, economically. It's a really, really big imprint and impact on what we do. More importantly, I wanted this episode to simply talk about something that I was brought to. I was actually driving to my son's daily commute. You guys know I drive an hour to my son's hockey academy, hour there, hour back, twice a day. And I'm able to get a lot of work done over the phone, but a lot of time to think, a lot of time to understand, hey, what if this, what if that? And so I start to discern things, but when I get to the charts, then I quickly say, you know what, that was my emotions. And then I really, really discern things. And I'm like, there's got to be a correlation there. Or I would say at first, there's a difference between thinking and discerning. Thinking is your own understanding, right? Your own leaning of your own understanding. Discernment is God-given, God breath. It's actually a spiritual gift. And so when I say I discern, I still want to back it up quantitatively and qualitatively speaking from a technical standpoint. But typically when you discern something, it's really not hard to quantify it. It's really not hard to qualify it. And so that's what I did with this content I'm about to speak about. Now, it's wild. And I will say my disclosure here again. This is not investment advice. I'm speaking from an opinion standpoint, but the charts are factual. And the charts don't lie. You guys heard me talk about that so much. You know, the track, trace, and control agenda has always been around, but we can quantify it. We can qualify it. That is not a conspiracy. Just like the money in your bank you don't own, that is not a conspiracy. You can literally just stop the video and go ahead and do an internet search. Do I own the money in my bank account? It should be a yes or no question, but it's not. It says technically, yes. Technically, yes. What do you mean? Although, and it'll go on and say, although you have rights to withdraw it, the bank has rights to bank bail in UN. So I want to keep that in the back of your head. That yes, we forfeited our assets in exchange to get an FDIC insured product, which the government determines when they pay you back. So that is the reality of the situation. It is not conspiracy. You can simply just look it up. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. If you're first time listening to this, maybe you should subscribe to Scriptures in Wall Street on Rumble, on YouTube, or Apple Podcasts, or even Spotify. Happy to be there. Man, so I will just say this, guys. We are in a certain situation that doesn't make sense. And it makes sense that it doesn't make sense because we know who is the principle of chaos, deceit, lies. And I'll tell you what, it's not from God. I will tell you that. So we got this war on Iran. We have the stock market going down. We have a lot of issues right now. Silver's falling. The Dow, the S&P 500 is going down. You have defensive stocks like Lockheed Martin literally skyrocketing. And in it all, you have the volatility index spiking up like crazy. The volatility index moves about $4.20 a day, meaning that it can go to 25 to 29 and a half in one day. Now, you guys understand that if you've been watching me for a while, I'm always looking at the VIX. The volatility index it gives the actual temperature gauge of what the fear and greed index is actually showing us. And because we have a fear and greed index going up, the markets go down historically. And that's what the fear and greed index is. They're fearful because now we have 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day for the next few years. When I was 18 years old, this is why I want to be a retirement planner, because I want to cater to the baby boomers. And one of you either would be, when I took my career test of like what you want to be in a freshman in college, and this would help you determine what career you want to take. I already knew before I went to college. My sister graduated with a psychology degree and $100,000 in debt, and she couldn't pay that. And she had a lot of student loan debt, and I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to go to college. Okay, as funny as that sounds, I want to go to college and not be in a bad spot. I wanted human capitalism. Human capitalism is investing in yourself for a return on your knowledge. So I believe in human capitalism. I think it's a great investment to invest in yourself. Unfortunately, the college route is not the way to go, in my opinion. If you're going to go to school, to you youngins out there in your 20s, learn a trade. Learn a trade. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, those three sectors, you will be multi-millionaires. In addition, those industries do not work. I'm sorry, the AI industry does not work with those three components. Construction, HVAC, plumbers, linemen, all those industries are amazing. I'm going to make sure my children understand that these industries are a good trade school, because the college route is not going to cut it. Going to get a 4-year degree, you'll basically end up like a dummy. Unless you are studying like pre-law or you're going to be a doctor, there's no need to go to college anymore. I'm not saying don't go to college. What I'm saying is you better make a freaking good career and an income and invest in your human capital mindset. And the only industry you should go to college is for pre-law and learn how to conduct surgeries, or a nurse. And hopefully you work for a hospital that doesn't force vaccinate people. And there are a small network of hospitals that are not tied to the forced mandates of the vaccine. So we need those good nurses, like the frontline nurses. Some of them are my clients, and they're amazing people. We love those people. Anyways, let me get off my spiel on that. But I don't even want to tell you about the numbers and like the career fallout. People don't actually graduate because they get depressed, and they spent $50,000 going to school only to realize that their friends graduated ahead of them and they're doing bad, and so they get discouraged and they don't want to finish, and now they're in debt and they don't have a degree, and they get an entry-level job and they're stuck paying this $50,000, $75,000 school note that they never capitalized on. So don't be in that trap. And I'm just speaking to the younger generation here. The way to do it is if I could do it all over again, if I wasn't a soccer player, seeking a sports scholarship, I would literally just find an industry that I was curious about, find a mentor in that field, and go to a 2-year, learn your basic business arithmetic, learn KPIs, learn marketing, learn Excel spreadsheets, Google Sheets, a little bit of automation, business law, contract law. You can learn all that in 2 years and get an associate's and be extremely, extremely smart. and cunning and proactive while going to learn electricity or HVAC. Have a mentor that built a restoration company. Become a mentor and start your own company one day. Learn a trade and build a business around it. That's effectively what I've done in the financial services world. I figured out a problem, a problem that I knew would happen 20 years ago. I figured it out. God gave me that discernment. I didn't know I would be a podcaster. I actually had a heart to be a news reporter. I thought news reporting was really cool. So I didn't know how, so I didn't pursue it, but I always wanted to have some type of media news reporter background. I loved Maria Bartiromo and Charlie on CNBC. I grew up watching that as a stockbroker. And Brett Baer was pretty big into the financial networks too. So I really liked those guys before I woke up, right? Because I was big into big media. And so my career path took a turn during COVID, that my passion for media actually turned into a podcast. I met some big influential podcasters, obviously, and I got to speak my message. But before then, I learned to public speak. I learned to share concepts, learned Social Security, taught Social Security many years, 10 years, just doing town hall events, public libraries. I would rent out restaurants like Carrabba's and Outbacks because they'd never opened up for lunch. And I would just have these like informational seminars and I would get clients that way. And it was a very expensive, low pay-in job or opportunity, but I built a business because I had a mentor. I had a few mentors. And at the end of the day, when God puts something in your heart and he calls you to do something, you do it and you don't stop. And this is why I love athletics. Like, I think you should go to college if you have athletic scholarship because there's a puck battle. There's a 50-50 battle. If you're a football player, there's a hamburger drill. There's penetrating your will on your opponent. No matter what the cost is, you're going to do it. And that mindset carries over into the business world, carries over into starting your company, pursuing your dream of being a singer, pursuing your dream of being an artist, pursuing your dream as an architect, pursuing your dream of working on the financial services, pursuing your dream of starting a company that solves problems and solutions. And if you can line your faith with your company values, you will win. On top of that, you sprinkle some insurance called Malachi 3, and every single dollar that you make, you give 10% to God. There's no one stopping you. The Isaiah 54 will protect you. And that is a guarantee. So Christian entrepreneurship is something that I'm extremely proud about. Now, this whole podcast is not about Christian entrepreneurship. The reason why I bring all that is because I want you to think, for the younger people watching this, I want you to start to think different. As AI takes over, our generations behind us are getting dumber and dumber because they're relying on AI. For me, an example, my spelling has sucked really bad. Ever since you learn Word document and Google, like, you purposely like misspell words so that the Microsoft Word or whatever pages or whatever word processor software you're using will autocorrect you. Whether you're sending an iMessage or a text message on your Android, it autocorrects you. And what it actually does, it's been utilizing behavioral AI back. It wasn't open-ended like it is now, but this AI and this correction automation has been around for decades, guys. It's just now being more slowly released to the public. But the government has been having AI for 30 years now. It's nothing new. It's new to the public. Look, in 1993, the internet came out. Pre-1993, you couldn't buy anything off the internet. That wasn't too long ago. And look where we're at now. Look where we're at right now. 1993, you couldn't order anything on the internet. In 2000, there's something called a wireless phone. That was the standard. The wireless phone had internet capabilities, touchscreen capabilities, and you could literally just order anything. Then there was Amazon. And now you can buy a whole company. You can start a whole company just on Amazon. You can buy a website, pre-made website. Fiverr, you can hire somebody for $5 to do a certain project. You can hire AI robots to trade the markets like I do from a human standpoint. You could do all these things. Pre-1993, you couldn't. So the question is, what is going to happen 30 years from now? Many of you would be in your 70s and your 80s. And you got to figure it out now. You got to figure out like what is happening. And so just today, I just kind of want to show you one distraction. I'm just here to show charts. You get to formulate your own opinion. I have my own opinion. It's not very church friendly. It's not very government friendly. It's a red pill, but it's just my opinion. And call me crazy. Call me Stoops. I don't care. The charts don't lie, bro. You know, the mirror doesn't lie. The blood doesn't lie. The weight scale doesn't lie. The results don't lie. You confer intent by the results given, period. So let's take a look at the charts and you tell me. If you currently have money in the bank, a 401k, or even precious metals in an IRA, you may want to listen up. You're going to want to have a place where you have a guarantee on your funds. As we go into a lower interest rate environment, banks will be stressed out when the commercial real estate crisis happens. Right now, you can get a guarantee, yes, a guarantee on your principal, and get a bonus. If you're younger than 65 years of age, we can utilize an insurance-based contract that has been around for over 100 years. We want to help you find a guarantee on your funds that are actually outside of banking laws, outside of securities laws. And guess what? You get a guarantee on your funds. You get a guarantee on your principal. Go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out your information, and let's just see if you qualify. So here we are. We got the volatility index. The volatility index right now is trading at 2728. We got a green box March 6th, just 6 days ago. Got a green box saying there's a golden cross. Boom. I think I spoke about it 2 weeks ago, and it just shot up well over 25. Now, this is going to move about $4 a day. It can move. So I predict by the time you watch this, we are going to be over 30. Now, you can't buy the VIX, but you can buy VIXY. Now, if you wanted to make money off of the volatility index, you could buy VIXY or UVIX. That's another good ETF. This is not investment advice, obviously. I'm just saying for information, education purposes only. But we're starting to see some growth here as VIXY is approaching 33. Now, the average trade range is going to be roughly $2. This is the ETF that follows the VIX. So at 33, you probably could get away buying a call option at 35, which is right about, if it hits 35, that may not be too good, but $2, you need to be $2 out. And right now we got a golden cross. Once it hits this yellow Bollinger Band, it might have a retracement, meaning the market will come back up. So yeah, this would be a dangerous play, but if you're willing to risk, I would see, I haven't looked at the options change, but a $34 call would be really, really cool. Maybe 2 months out, or if you're really, really risky, a week out. And anything that you buy on a call option at a $34 strike price, if it doesn't hit $34, you lose everything, guys. You lose everything if it expires out of the money. You pay a premium for the right to own 100 units of this security, which is VIXY at $33. And so if you do not surpass that $34 mark, it would not be in the money, and you got to sell it before it expires to exercise your options, or else they'll just give you whatever that value is at closing. So that's a little bit about options, call options, and you need an options agreement. Of course, this is not investment advice. If you would like to talk about it, you can give me a call, 813-448-3446. But that's VIXI. The other major thing I wanted to talk about is this, and this is why you listen. This is why you turn in, because I want to give you updates. I love doing this stuff. Now, here's something very interesting. This is the S&P 500. You see how we were like pretty much all-time high in January. You saw the people, all of the people in the White House and the legislative in Washington beating their chest. Oh yeah, the Dow is about to hit 7,000. And here we are. It did. And then boom, right now we're at 66.72 at the close of Thursday night, which is the 12th. You will see this on Saturday. So we're down to a good 10%, guys. And guess what? It's going to get a whole lot worse. I got a death cross right here, a sell signal. Let me show you another chart that paints the picture even more. It doesn't take rocket science. Look at all the red blood that you see. This is so much pressure on the S&P 500. My traffic lights, I have one short term. That means there's going to be a little bit of buying. This is short term, and this is in the commodities. It could be right now in the commodities. But the overall pressure is down tremendously on a daily. If I was trading this, obviously, market's doing a up. This is a 30-minute, 1 hour. You could trade it right now if you wanted to, not on a Saturday. But yeah, on a 4 hour, I usually look at the dailies. But yes, this is just atrocious. Guys, be very careful. If you have your whole retirement in a 60-40 bond or just a 401k, give me a call because I want to help you. Like, this is dangerous here. So the S&P 500 is going down because the volatility index is going up. Well, what about the dollar? We have the dollar here. The dollar is pumping up. Oh man, green lights all the way. Look at this thing. This thing is skyrocketing right now. Over $32, okay? So, because the dollar's going up, this is how maybe, just maybe, okay, this is completely my opinion. But I want you to, based on the charts that I'm showing you, because they don't lie. Now we have silver. Silver is at $84.714. How did it get all the way up here to 116 and completely crash? And then go even low and hit a Bollinger Band from one band to the other band. And it's in this consolidation period. So it's being suppressed. The dollar's going up, and that's why silver is going down. It's because the dollar skyrocketed. All of a sudden, we had a massive panic on silver. I knew the dollar would be manipulated. So silver is completely manipulated. This is why I say if you have silver, you need to sell a good portion of it. Keep some to be in the long run because I believe it will go high, really, really high. But it is completely manipulated, guys. And we're just going to have to see how this weighs out. So silver is actually going down, even though the momentum is going to shift back up. This is all temporarily, but the S&P 500, guys, is completely getting destroyed. And I'm worried about many people trying to buy a gold or silver precious metal IRA only to get scammed 25% on the buy and 25% on the sell, hoping that this is going to go back up. That's a dangerous game. Do not do that. Now, if we look at the NASDAQ, where everybody is so AI focused, look at the sell-off that's happening right now. So even the beautiful Magnificent Seven is not looking beautiful anymore. We can go to NVIDIA, and I've told you about how NVIDIA basically is controlling several markets, right? Amazon, NVIDIA. it's like propping up the whole market. And this is a mixed bag of goods. We see a negative pattern here. Short term, we do have some traffic lights. But let me go to my other chart because it shows a better story, I feel. So here's NVIDIA. And we got a death cross, the same one that we have in the S&P 500. We got one the 2nd of March. And we're going to start to see a massive sell-off in NVIDIA. So if we go back, I mean, look how volatile NVIDIA is. Right now it's at 183. Guys, this is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. So be very careful here. I'm just really scared for a lot of clients that are just sitting ducks in their 401ks because we need to have access to good advice. If you currently have money in the bank, a 401k, or even precious metals in an IRA, you may want to listen up. You're going to want to have a place where you have a guarantee on your funds. As we go into a lower interest rate environment, banks will be stressed out when the commercial real estate crisis happens. Right now, you can get a guarantee, yes, a guarantee on your principal, and get a bonus. If you're younger than 65 years of age, we can utilize an insurance-based contract that has been around for over 100 years. We want to help you find a guarantee on your funds that are actually outside of banking laws, outside of securities laws. And guess what? You get a guarantee on your funds. You get a guarantee on your principal. Go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out your information, and let's just see if you qualify. So as we were just saying, I wanted to talk about the S&P 500. So if you're watching this, another crazy thing, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say this. I may eat crow. I may have mud in the face, but of course, this is not investment advice. This is for information, education purposes only. What I really want to talk about is the deflections, the actual manipulations that is actually happening right now. What I mean by that is they'll beat their chest. Washington and Wall Street will beat their chest saying, oh, man, we did this. The market's up. The market's up. And yeah, overall, of course, the market is up. You see, look at this. Powered by you know what? NVIDIA. All the Magnificent Seven affects the correlations of all markets, in my opinion. I mean, look at this. This thing is just nuts. And I'm obviously going back to 2023. So when the S&P was just in December of 22 at 3617. Fast forward 3 years from now, close to 7,000 at 6,700. But look, the markets are melting right now. We had a death cross we are just speaking about. This is not something new. On basically Monday the 9th, I had a death cross. It's now, I'm pre-recording this for Saturday's show, but yesterday was the 12th. I woke up this morning and sure as heck, the S&P fell off and we got a death cross and it's melting. So what I'm telling you guys is that we need to understand that when you are in the S&P and red money, it's going to go up 74% of the time, 75% of the time, roughly. But when it goes down, that 24, 25% of the time, it is that time that it could wipe out your gains if you're fully vested in equities in the S&P 500. Now, what does that mean? Well, you may have a blue chips portfolio. You may have a moderate to growth portfolio. Buy and hold is who I'm talking about. You know, the Vanguard holders, the ETF holders. Maybe you have a retirement with two different ETFs, the QQQs and the SPX. Or maybe you just have the Franklin Growth Fund or the American Growth Fund of America. And they buy and sell large caps. Most money managers, they stick with the top 500 companies, the top big blue chips, and they're coming down in the S&P. So I'm just letting you know Of course, is not investment advice, but I'm letting you know that we have a meltdown here. It is nuts. If you look geopolitically, what is happening, silver, we'll look at silver again. Silver's pumping up, the dollar's going down. Now the dollar's going up, silver's pumping down. I mean, it's just pure manipulation. Then you see the defensive stocks growing all of a sudden. Are they, I mean, is there a reason why they're pumping up the dollar? Is there a reason why silver is going down? And there's a reason why that defensive stocks are skyrocketing. We know that it takes 40,000 ounces of silver to make one missile head. I mean, it is wild. And so silver has been a very fascinating asset because it's two-pronged, right? It has the financial component, the currency component, but it also has the commodities component where it's industrialized as a metal. So you can use it for anything with an on-off switch. They even have it enclosed to fight bacteria. They even use it for surgical tools. They use it pretty much everywhere, and has such a high demand. Um, there's just not enough silver. So I'm not saying get out of your silver. I'm just saying that the banks typically what they do is they sell a short to bring the prices down, and they don't even own the silver. They just want to collect a premium. So when you sell a short, you basically have a derivative. And when this is the you don't have to be a bank. You could just be a normal person, a normal Joe. And if you put out a call option, you're calling, you're making a call, a shot call that this pin, let's just say, is going to go to $10, and right now it's at $7. And if it goes to $10, you pay a little price called the premium, and then if it hits $10, then you owe me on one contract, you owe me 100 shares at $10, and I bought it at, I paid you a premium around $7, let's just say. So what banks do, they do the opposite. They say, hey, you pay me, I'm the seller of this option. I don't have the silver, right? I don't have the silver, but you can sure as heck pay me, $10. You pay me $15 an option, and we're going to go ahead and sell 5,000 options, each one roughly worth about 500,000 on the ask side. So they probably collect, let's see here, a premium of, let's just say they have a premium of $40. So they're going to get paid $40 times $100. Yes, so $4,000. Oh, I'm sorry, $40,000 per contract. And if they have 5,000 of them, they don't even need to own it. So when you don't own the silver, let's just say the silver actually goes past a certain price point, the stock price or the unit price or the currency price, the spot price, they literally have to put it down and buy it at whatever price you got in and sell it to you and buy it back. They have to buy it back on their own terms, but they basically cover that spread and you make all of that upside. So selling puts can be extremely dangerous to the seller. But if you are a big bank, if you are the chip holder at the poker table, no one's going to mess with you. And so you just bully your way around with the market manipulations. You bully around all the time. And this is why GameStop, this is why AMC had a really, really big takeoff in 2020 when Robinhood came out, and all these investors with the Reddit forums, they went ahead and bought GameStop at fractional shares, and it beat all the hedge funds. The price just completely rose up, and they couldn't do anything about it. So I feel the same thing's happening with silver. We'll have to see how it turns out. But one way to bring the price of silver down is pumping up the dollar. But you're not going to see that on the media. They're not going to talk about it. And I find it very interesting that they won't talk about it because it opens up holes, right? Like, okay, well, who's doing this? Well, what banks? Well, the banks are, in my opinion, in bed with the feds. And so the feds are a business. The Treasury is a business. I mean, they're not even a legal. It's not even constitutional. The feds. So, so as a business, let's just say now we have shareholders, right? And those shareholders are the banks. The banks have to make sure the feds are profitable. The feds have to make sure the banks are profitable because obviously they're in bed with each other and they do Fed funds rate and they borrow against each other. They sort of help each other out, obviously. And obviously, lowering interest rates are detrimental to the bank. So the bank has to be creative right now because they're not allowed to, or I mean, I guess they could, but the rates have gone down. And we'll look at the Fed funds rate here in a second. But the rates have gone down and they're not used to making that 9, 10% loans anymore. They have to lower the rates. So they're not getting that profit like they're used to because of the interest rates. And so the Fed is in a pickle because if they don't lower interest rates, um, our bonds don't pay as much. The yield goes down. But if they raise interest rates, those yields will stay stagnant and those bond prices will go down as well. So either you hurt the American or you help investors come in America by having attractive treasury yield. But with the Bank of International Settlements, BITS, basically downgrading America. We are known to be the financial giant in the world. But with the recent downgrade of America, this has put a lot of pressure on the feds and the chairman, as well as just the whole economy, the whole macro perception of who America is. So I say all that because the S&P 500 is melting down. But I want to show you something pretty grimy here. So I just showed you the chart. Now we're going to go to the bro investors. Yahoo Finance, mainstream media. US grows 0.74 in Q4 in sharp downgrade of first estimate. The US economy hobbled by the last 43 government shutdown advance as sluggish annual rate. Don't expect a drilling boom oven as oil rips higher. Key Fed inflation gauge worsened in January before Iran war. Stocks bounce back as oil falls amid data flood. Stocks waver as oil's near 100. The biggest movers: Vion, Klarma Group, Bitmine, trending tickets, Adobe, Bitcoin. I haven't even looked at Bitcoin yet. Ulta. So people are going back into, I guess, makeup because they're doing so well. So what I'm getting at is there is nothing about the S&P tanking. There is nothing that says, be careful, we might see a recession. There is nothing, guys. The markets are up. Flat. They're more flat than anything, not up. Today they're flat, right? Nothing in the news, guys. It's just sickening, man, because people rely on this information. People rely on the news, but they don't have access to the unfiltered charts. But what does this have to do with your retirement? Well, I hope you're not doing this with your retirement dollars, but just know that the banks have the ability to do this at a macro level. And when they sell the shorts, they they collect a lot of premium. But here we are. Here's the S&P 500. I could short this right now, like I just did, and make a ton of money. I could, if I had gazillions of dollars like they do, I could make millions of dollars every day, right? Millions of dollars every single day. And so the thing is, people don't know this stuff. They rely on Yahoo to figure it out, the CNN money to figure it out, but they don't realize that they're being funded by the same people we're trying to avoid. You mix in some questions about the government, you mix in some questions about the manipulations. They all have a prerogative. And what I really want to emphasize today is that, yeah, so what if the market is up? So what if the interest rates go down? So what if silver is manipulated? What are you doing right now to protect yourself from the obvious manipulations I just showed you? We can have it. We can do this for the benefit of you, or you can be like what the Bible says. All right. I say all this because it reminds me of Proverbs 22:3. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. The one probably closest to in all reality is definitely this one. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. So we need to use our faith, obviously, to share examples of what is going on. But if we just let it slide, let the 401k slide, the Bible literally says that the prudent see danger. You want to be a steward. You want to be a prudent person of your funds. But Proverbs 22:3 says that the danger is out there and take refuge. So you see the signs, you see all the things that are happening right now. Take caution, take refuge. But simply don't do anything and you're going to pay the penalty. Well, here's the penalty in real time. The market's going down and the bro investors are not even talking about why it's going down in the midst of everything. So it's pure manipulation at its finest. So what do we do, guys? What do we do? Well, I want to say something pretty quick here that is very beneficial for you. So what is the solution? The solution could be found in many different ways. The solution is, in my opinion, if you currently have money in the bank, a 401k, or even precious metals in an IRA, you may want to listen up. You're going to want to have a place where you have a guarantee on your funds. As we go into a lower interest rate environment, banks will be stressed out when the commercial real estate crisis happens. Right now, you can get a guarantee, yes, a guarantee on your principal, and get a bonus. If you're younger than 65 years of age, we can utilize an insurance-based contract that has been around for over 100 years. We want to help you find a guarantee on your funds that are actually outside of banking laws, outside of securities laws. And guess what? You get a guarantee on your funds. You get a guarantee on your principal. Go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out your information, and let's just see if you qualify. So there's no one size fits it all, right? There's multiple different options that you can do. But what I want to say and share is that you got to have a place of a bucket. In my opinion, you got to have a bucket that is safe. You got to have a bucket where there's no risk in your retirement, because retirement, you don't want to have to go through a wait situation. You don't have to go through a situation where you're pretty much stuck in a 60-40 blend, buy and hold red money. So red money is literally poisonous when it comes to the ability to have a stable retirement. All you want to do before you retire is grow your asset. And once you get to retirement age or close to it, you want to preserve your assets, or at least move a good portion of it into a safe vehicle. That doesn't mean you don't grow anymore. That doesn't mean that you buy a CD and give your money to the banks and be vulnerable to FDIC. That doesn't mean that you put your money underneath your mattress. That doesn't mean that you completely buy real estate because that's all you knew. And it also sure as heck doesn't mean you buy these puppies and put your money in gold and silver. Ask the current clients that I know right now that are calling us saying, man, Carlos, I had $500,000 in my IRA and it's only worth 425,000. That's because the volatility is so big. And what you don't understand is that brokers, even good ones, are going to charge to get out because it is expensive for them to do it because the refineries are literally having problems liquidating it. If you're selling silver or precious metals, it's going to take you 3 to 4 weeks to even receive the funds. This is no joke. On top of the volatility at a time. And so you're going to be selling it when it gets filled. So yes, this is red money. This is the art of it. This is what happens. Guys, you don't need to have your retirement in these things. And even in the IRA, Gold Star Equity Trust, it doesn't matter. You're going to be in red money. You're going to have some problems trying to sell out of it, even at these levels. All right. So it's important that if you're looking for a fiduciary, if you're looking for someone to look at your accounts, that we speak and that we can help you convert into what I'm about to show you. This is another option for many of you, not everybody, but not everyone, but for those of you that actually want to protect their principal, contractually speaking, not red money, precious metals, but actually contractual, with a guarantee backed by A-rated insurance carrier. You have insurance on your home, your car, your health, your life, your dog. You have insurance on everything, your business, but many of you are running around with no insurance on your money, contractual guarantees. So this is the benefit of having green money. And I'm going to just show you that we could use it for income. So this is based off the NASDAQ, the QQQ growth index, particularly. So this is a sample of a 56-year-old person, male or female, doesn't matter. 300,000 goes in because that's kind of the average at that age, the American average. 300 grand goes in at 56. Let's just say they bought in. So this is an insurance contract. What that means is you actually only have access to 10% a year or you'll be penalized. You could surrender at any time, but you're going to pay a daggone fee and it's nasty. First year, if you cancel it, you're going to pay a 10% fee. The second year, if you cancel it, it'll be 9, then 8, then 7, then 6, then 5. All the good, strong carriers start at 9 or 10, and they go down a percentage every single year. But let's just say you stuck within the 10% free withdrawal rule every single year, right? And this account is going to actually calculate every 2 years. So you'll see a zero every other year, but 2 years worth of growth. Holy smokes, almost 100 grand, $94,000 that comes in. That gets locked in as your new account value, never ever to be lost. So now you're at 373,000. You say, I want to start taking 7% out. So that's 21,000 bucks you just took out. Cool. All right. You're 57. You want to retire a little young. Obviously, you got taxation issues you got to worry about. But the following year, you took another 26,000. Your money's still growing. You got $113,000 in interest. Your account's at 436. Mind you, we've taken close to 73,000 roughly. $73,000. You put 300 grand. Your account is already at 436. Guys, that is almost a double. You've basically taken out you're 510,000, all right, from 300. The following year, your money's still growing. $160,000 in interest, 538,000 your contract value, and your withdrawal grew from 30,000 to 28,000. Keep it going. 37,000, a 35,000, a 33, a 31. And actually, you 65 years old, you say, you know what, I want to stop because I have Social Security, whatever, or you have another pension. So you stopped it, and this continues to grow. So literally by year 16, you have $1.1 million. And you stop. You can start and stop this anytime you want. We can cater this to you at any point and any time. So I love this for many of our clients. It depends on your state, though. It depends on your situation. We can move your Gold Star Equity Trust. If you bought gold and got smacked, We can move that IRA. We can liquidate it. We have gold brokers that we have professional partnerships with we're Cornerstone, amazing guys, and they're affordable. They already made their money. They don't need to charge you a boatload of fees, so they're great. Also, this has a guarantee. This is green money. And if you want more information, go to greenmoneysolutions.com, and we can see how this works out for you. We could use a growth vehicle for income. Also, next podcast, I'm going to be talking about yellow money, the power behind yellow money. Do you know that we have the ability to purchase structured notes? Structured notes, we're going to be talking about structured notes. You guys are going to get blown away. There's accounts that pay 15, 20% annualized, paid monthly. Again, it's smart money. I want to talk about risk, but for now, today, right now, this is a great solution for someone that is in an S&P 500 that's trying to retire or wants to build wealth and wants an income. Then this is such an amazing opportunity that you won't find in most financial advisor houses or broker dealers, because they don't allow green money products in a red money world. If you are interested in something like this, give us a call, 813-448-3446. Doesn't matter what state you're in. They're everywhere. I love this company, A-rated, strong, backed by a $500 billion asset management company. So they're not going to go anywhere. I really, really appreciate you guys listening to this, because this is such a huge solution for anyone that's stuck in a stock market, that's afraid of the stock market, afraid of the CBDCs, afraid of the bank bail-ins, afraid of, the precious metals in an IRA, which is an account that the government owns. The government owns IRAs, and they already know in their own account that you have precious metals, and they know where to go and get it. Do you really trust the Delaware laws? Do you really trust the Texas laws with your retirement that you still have to pay taxes on? These are things you need to think about. If you're interested, definitely give us a call, 813-448-3446. I can also do this on a tax-free side if you're interested in that. I'll explain all that when you give us a call. Or visit us at cortezw1.com. You can also scan the QR code if you directly want to get on our calendar. More than happy to help you guys out. God bless you, and we love you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and definitely get your peptides at getmeleanusa.com. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, our Rumble channel, our Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. We'll talk with you soon. I got to get going. There's a client waiting for me. God bless. Unapologetic, I won't bow, I won't hide. Latino blood, American pride, with a word in my heart and the fire in my speech. I'm a warrior for the kingdom on scriptures and Wallstreet. So how many times have we gotten lost in the minutia of the everyday life? We've gotten fat, we've gotten lazy, we've gotten complacent, not just in our faith, but also our fitness, maybe our finances, maybe our marriage, maybe our family. But we've gotten complacent, and we constantly need to continue to grow. And one of the things I was weak at was in my fitness. As a former athlete, I thought I had it all. My ego got in the way. I'm like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Up until now, I have been able to focus on my fitness. For those of you who've been following me for 3 or 4 years, you understand that I've gained a lot of weight. I've used the excuse of having 4 kids, a marriage, a business, helping out at church, all these excuses. And I keep putting myself in the back burner. This is deadly. And what I love about this company, what I love about taking ownership, is that getmeleanusa.com has the ability to introduce natural, groundbreaking peptides. What your body demands, what your body needs to release those fat stored cells, to build muscle, to gain your physical being back to where it's naturally supposed to be. We're not talking about big pharma saying we're going to come out with the weight loss drug. We're not talking about losing muscle. We're talking about gaining muscle, gaining your physique back, controlling your appetite, giving you the edge that you need to help you get your body back in check the way God intended it to be, by using his resources with America First products, with America First company that aligns and believes in what you believe in. Introducing getmeleanusa.com. Get in. This is going to be groundbreaking, huge huge business opportunity, as well as a huge groundbreaking technology that is going to change the landscape. So I know good things before I see it, and I highly recommend you get in. All you got to do is click the link below and get you some fit, get you some lean, and get fit and get lean. This is not going to do everything. Of course, diet and exercise, you continue your walking, continue your protein intake, but man, does it make it a whole lot easier to get in shape. Look at me, I've lost 60 pounds, but this is actually fundamentally a great recipe to get back in shape. And I can personally attest to the amazing effects of this product. So go to getmeleanusa.com. You won't regret it. You can cancel anytime. They're affordable and yet they're effective. And you are supporting our show. You're supporting yourself. You're supporting a mission. There is an affiliate program attached to it if you would want to share it with your friends and family. There's a whole nother opportunity there. But more importantly, let's get your fitness back in check. God bless you. Carlos Cortez here, signing out.